La misión está en el corazón de la iglesia. Y más aún, cuando una iglesia está en sínodo, solamente esa dinámica sinodal la lleva adelante la vocación misionera, es decir, la respuesta al mandato de Jesús de anunciar el Evangelio. Quisiera recordar que aquí no se acaba nada, sino que aquí continúa un camino eclesial. Se trata de un camino que recorremos como los discípulos de Maús, escuchando al Señor que siempre sale a nuestro encuentro. Es el Señor de la sorpresa. Por medio de la oración y el discernimiento, el Espíritu Santo nos ayuda a realizar el apostolado del oído, o sea, escuchar con los oídos de Dios para poder hablar con la palabra de Dios. Y así nos acercamos al corazón de Cristo, del que brota nuestra misión y la voz que atrae hacia Él. Una voz que nos descubre el centro de la misión, que es llegar a todos, buscar a todos, acoger a todos y buscar a todos sin excluir a nadie. Oremos por la Iglesia, para que adopte la escucha y el diálogo como estilo de vida a todos los niveles, dejándose guiar por la fuerza del Espíritu Santo hacia las periferias del mundo.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is George Sungu. I'm a Catholic journalist based in Mombasa. Currently, I'm a member of the Communications Commission of the Bishops, Synod of Bishops in the Vatican. And I also edit a newsletter which is known African Synodality newsletter, besides some of my other journalistic roles. Before being appointed to this commission, I served as the president of the Catholic Journalists in Africa, and we've been working very closely with our Catholic media practitioners across the continent on matters on how best to evangelize the people through the media platforms.
No, that's great. Now let's talk about Synod and how it started.
Yeah, Synod, as you may remember, is a Greek word, basically meaning a meeting of bishops. This came up way back during the times of St. Peter, when St. Peter, according to the writings of Acts of the Apostles 15, when he brought together the Jews and the Jews and the Gentile believers. The Jews and the Gentile believers, when he brought them together to be part of the Christian community. So, as we all know that it is Peter who is part of the foundation of the Catholic Church. So we can say with confidence that this was the building moment for the Catholic Church. These people brought together. So from then after, those who took over the church running from St. Peter, the subsequent popes, would use these synods to bring together bishops to discuss matters which are of importance to the church from time to time. During that time, the synod meeting was not that regular. It would be convened if and when need be. But later on, much later in 1965, during the reign of Pope Paul VI, when they came up with a document known as Vatican II, then they made it more structured and more regular in the sense that the Synod of Bishops would be convened every 2 years to discuss matters concerning the church and how best to run the church going forward.
Now, you mentioned the word synods. So there are types of synods. Would you like to break them down for us?
Yes, we have the Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod. This is the main one, like what is going on in Rome now. That is the Ordinary General Assembly. This is the 16th one since they started. And also we have the Extraordinary Synod. This one is convened not regularly, but if and when there is a need to discuss a particular issue of importance to the church, that's when the Holy Father can convene the Extraordinary Synod. And then there is also Special Synod. Special Synod is convened regionally, say here in Africa. We've had two, one in 1995 and then another second one in the year 2009, to discuss issues of which are dear to the continent. Church issues, but continent to us, which is now just for the region, not globally. So those are the three types of synod: the General Assembly, the Extraordinary Synod, and then the Special Synod. Yeah.
From the synods you've mentioned, do they happen at the same time, or they happen at different occasions?
No. These are completely different timings, because we know that the General Assembly takes place every 2 years. Now, if there is a burning issue to be discussed and the time for the General Assembly is yet to reach, then the Holy Father can convene either extraordinary or can let the region concerned have a special synod than not normally convened together now.
Wow. Now, apart from the bishops and the Pope himself, who else can attend the synod meetings?
From the beginning, when the synod started, it was exclusively for the bishops, not even the priests, just the bishops, the cardinals, and them. But this year, the year 2023, the synod which is going on is a very unique one. Unique in the sense that it diverges from the other synods which have been there before. Because for the first time in the history of the Catholic Church, we have lay people attending the synod. So this makes it very, very unique. Unlike in the past when it was just the bishops, but now we have even women, lay women, consecrated women who are going to vote together alongside the bishops when need be for voting. Yeah.
How long do the synod meetings take?
The synod meetings, the earlier ones would take run for a week, for a month or so. But this one is extraordinary because the process started in October 2021 and it is going to end October 2024. So we can say it is a 3-year period. But the actual sitting which is going on in Rome now started on the 4th and ends on the 29th. That's about 25 days. But that's just actual now deliberations. But the process has been taking place all this time. That's all synodal meeting. Yeah.
That's quite a long time. Now, how many issues, or what are some of the issues that are being discussed in the synod?
Yeah, the issues are wide and varied. You know, that's now the meeting of the entire church globally. Each continent has brought together its issues. Remember this issue where after the launch of the Synod on Synodality on 9th October in the Vatican, I am lucky to have been one of the delegates representing Africa then. The Holy Father gave the opportunity to the lay people that they could come up with the issues that they would want the church to think and incorporate in the running of the church. So questions were formulated in the Vatican by the General Secretariat of the Synod and was sent down to the dioceses. So after the launch of the Synod on Synodality in every diocese across the world on the 17th October 2021, the questions were sent down to the parishes. These questions cut across issues that concern humanity. And now, in the parishes, we would have the small Christian community members. We would have members of the St. Joseph, the Catholic Men Association, the Catholic Women, all those structures in the church answer these questions. And then special teams, committees were formed in every parish to deal with this, harmonize all these questions and answers into 10 pages sent to their respective dioceses. So, but before the diocese, it would go to the deanery, then from the deanery to the diocese, and then the diocese would also assemble all the questions from all the deaneries in its jurisdiction, and then harmonize also the same in 10 pages, and send it to the National Bishops' Conference, like in Kenya, the KCCB, Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. That would happen in every country around the world where Catholics are. After that, the national episcopal conferences would send this to the regional episcopal conferences. Like in our case, we have AMASEA, which is bringing together 8 countries in the region. It should be 9 countries in the region, and similar other episcopal regional groups are 8 in Africa. So each group would come together, harmonize their questions and answers, and send to the Symposium of the Episcopal Conferences of Africa and Madagascar, SECAM, Secretariat in Accra, Ghana. So after that, that's where a technical team was formed to look at these questions continentally. So that's where I was. So the first meeting was in Accra, Ghana in December 2022. And then we came again, had a meeting here in Nairobi at the Jesuits house in Karen in January 2023. And then those were technical people meeting. But the delegates, continental delegates, met all of them in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, between 1st and 6th March to discuss all these issues, put them together is one document, which was now sent to Rome, not before 30th of March. So after that, some of the issues which were in this document, which I can remember, were matters to do with family life. You know, in Africa, we have culture of practicing polygamy. Not elsewhere in the world. But to us, some of our brothers have more than one wife, for one reason or another. But they're Catholics. So they want the church to look at them not so harshly, because that's part of our culture. So there are also issues of single parents. Today, it is a common practice to have a man looking after his children alone. For one reason or another, the wife is not there. Also, a woman who is looking after her children alone. For one reason or another, the husband is not there. So these are people who are members of the church and very active. They play crucial roles in the church. But for one reason or another, the church does not embrace them fully. Now, this one is in the document being discussed in Rome. There are also those people who are divorcees. They were married in the church. The marriage solemnized, and later on, the marriage did not stand. It collapsed. But they're still members of the church. So these people are also being discussed. How would the church deal with them? There are also issues to do with now a question of LGBT, LGBTQ, same gender relationship, which is, we would say, is alien to Africa, but now it has come in with a very, very strong punch. You find a young man walking home with a fellow male friend, introducing this as a potential partner in life. Something which can make even a parent collapse. But it is going on. So we cannot bury our head in the sand and let these kind of issues progress. Now we want the church to take a stand on all this. There are also issues to do with the climate change. How can the church help us or organize its people to help mitigate on matters concerning climate change? matters economy. The people who have natural resources in the areas, but these natural resources are being exploited by foreigners and leaving them in stark poverty. So we want the church to intervene and say that if gold is being mined here, let this gold help these people who are in the locality, not be enriching somebody elsewhere, thousands of kilometers away. So those are issues which are very, very dear, and many more which are going on now in the Vatican.
Wow, that's quite a number of issues. And from all the issues that you've mentioned, there may be some of the expectation, maybe to break them down, some of the expectations that the people of God are expecting from the current meeting that is happening of the Synod.
Yes. In fact, before coming here just last week, I took what I would call as a vox pop, get the views of Catholics from across the continent, talking to just one or two in this country, in that country, so that I could get a kind of a cross-section of what the expectations of our people are in terms of what's going on. And a number of issues came out strongly. There are those who would want to see women play a more bigger role than it is today, if they can also be ordained into deaconate, to become deacons or become priests, or even bishops like in other denominations. Now, that those who would want to see those who are in the media, like me and you, want the church to support the media in their jurisdictions, so that, the media plays a crucial role in evangelization, like what we are doing now. And there are some media houses which are struggling, but they're doing a very, very important role. And they want the dioceses, even the Episcopal conferences, to chip in and help them financially to do what they're doing the best way they can. There are also those issues which are concerning cultural practices. They want African cultures to be incorporated more into the church teaching. You remember when the Vatican II came, that's when our cultures were, the church started embracing the African cultures and cultures of the other people across the world. That is when, you remember, before Vatican II, Holy Mass was being said in one language, Latin. And when the Vatican II, the Holy Father, then Pope Paul VI, opened the scope of the church, then he allowed Holy Mass to be said in the local languages. That endeared the church to many people. And we want to see more of that, of our cultures being embraced. So even the formation of the clergy, our seminaries, the syllabus has to be relooked into, because now we are going into what we call a synodal church. So how should we behave or conduct ourselves as the clergy, or even the lay in leadership in the church, in a synodal church? There are those who want to see the laity given more voice in their respective dioceses and parishes, because as it is now, what the bishop says stands in the diocese. What the parish priest says in the parish stands. They have that authority. But the people want this to be scaled down, so the laity can also be given some kind of leverage, so that they can also have a stake in what is going on in their dioceses and their parishes. So those are among some of the expectations which our people have.
You've broken down the expectation of others. What are your expectations?
Yes, my expectation, I thank God, because I've been with this journey right from the beginning, having been one of the 10 delegates that represented Africa in Vatican on the 9th of October 2021. And ever since, I've followed the process much, much closely. But I would say with confidence that I am very optimistic. I believe that after the final document would have been produced in October 2024 by the then Synod. It is going to be a document which will help us give glory to God in a much more special way. So I believe and I hope everything that is going to be good for the church is going to be accepted by the ongoing Synod meeting.
Thank you. That was a good breakdown. So, you're not representing Kenya in Synod today since 2021?
Yes, I should have been in the Vatican today, being a member of the Communications Commission of the Synod of Bishops. But the Holy Father, at one stage in September this year, as he was traveling, he was traveling from a trip abroad, having visited a country between China and Russia. I'm forgetting the name of this country. Then, normally, traditionally, when he travels aboard his plane, he carries along journalists with him. So that's the time he has time to talk to the journalists on matters concerning the church. And during this time, there was a question which was posed to him by a journalist. The journalist wanted to know how the Synod meeting was going to be conducted. Wanted to know if journalists would be allowed within the halls so that they could hear firsthand the deliberations of the Synod. But the Holy Father said no. Those delegates who are going to be in the halls discussing the Synod issues are going to pen their signatures to what is known pontifical secrecy. Pontifical secrecy would mean that whatever is discussed in that hall should not leave that hall. It should be guarded closely until such a time that everything would have been finished, then be brought openly to the people at the right time. So when he said that, then as communicators, our main role in the Vatican would have been to disseminate information of the deliberations to people outside the hall. So that scaled down the need for our presence in Rome at this time. That explains why I am here with you. But we are still working very, very closely because I monitor what's going on there. We have a few people on the ground who keep sending us information. Like today at 15:30, that's 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the Vatican, which will be Kenyan time, around 10, and then 4:30, there'll be a media brief. So just a few are allowed in there to come with the selected information which can be disseminated. So in daily basis, there'll be a media brief of what is going on there. But of course, we know there are so many journalists who are there who are not necessarily Catholics, but very much interested in what's going on. They may propagate the correct information or the wrong information. So we are encouraging our people, more so the Catholic journalist practitioners, to look for information from the website of the Vatican News. That is where the official information will be channeled. Now, if you get information outside that, chances are you may land on false news, which may lead our people astray. So get the information from the correct channel, the Vatican News channels, and there will be media briefs for journalists who are not attending, registered for this, and they'll be accessing this live as it proceeds.
Wow, thank you for your time. I hope your expectations and all the people of God expectations come to 2024, year 2024 October. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Holy
misión está en el corazón de la iglesia. Y más aún, cuando una iglesia está en sínodo, solamente esa dinámica sinodal la lleva adelante la vocación misionera, es decir, la respuesta al mandato de Jesús de anunciar el Evangelio. Quisiera recordar que aquí no se acaba nada, sino que aquí continúa un camino eclesial. Se trata de un camino que recorremos como los discípulos de Maús, escuchando al Señor que siempre sale a nuestro encuentro. Es el Señor de la sorpresa. Por medio de la oración y el discernimiento, el Espíritu Santo nos ayuda a realizar el apostolado del oído, o sea, escuchar con los oídos de Dios para poder hablar con la palabra de Dios. Y así nos acercamos al corazón de Cristo, del que brota nuestra misión y la voz que atrae hacia Él, una voz que nos descubre el centro de la misión, que es llegar a todos, buscar a todos, acoger a todos y mostrar a todos sin excluir a nadie. Oremos por la Iglesia, para que adopte la escucha y el diálogo como estilo de vida a todos los niveles, dejándose guiar por la fuerza del Espíritu Santo hacia las periferias del mundo.